Hi, I'm Barrister Daniel Barnett. Thank you so much for watching this video. A very common problem when two parents split up is if the split up is acrimonious, how they continue talking to each other, how they continue communicating in order to make sure they're arranging their affairs in the best way they can, and most importantly, in order to look after the child and to make sure the best interests of the child are established and followed. What can you do if you're a parent and you're not really talking to your ex, or if your ex for some reason isn't really talking to you? Well, here to help me answer that question is the enormously experienced family law barrister Lucy Reed. Lucy is the author of the book The Family Courts Without a Lawyer, and Lucy has experienced this issue many hundreds of times. Lucy, what can a parent do if communication is difficult?
So the first thing to say is that it's very common for people to feel that it's just impossible to speak to their ex after a separation. And for some couples or ex-couples, that will persist for a very long time. Maybe it will never improve. But one of the things that I have seen in the work that I do and in my own extended family is that whilst it might seem for some time as if you are never going to be able to communicate, sometimes that does improve. But whilst it's still difficult or impossible, there are other ways in which you can try to communicate. And if you have children, you're going to need to communicate in one way or another. So you're going to have to find some mechanism that works for you and works for your ex. The most straightforward way to deal with things is to find a trusted family member or a friend that you can pass messages between. That doesn't mean that you should pass messages through the kids. It's really never a good idea, albeit it's tempting to pass messages through the kids even when they're older. That puts intolerable pressure on them, and that should really be avoided. But you might have sibling or a parent or a new partner sometimes who can be the go-between and who can communicate in a reasonably calm way. The other way that people often find it more manageable to communicate is by using email or text or some form of social media like WhatsApp. Because it's text-based, there is a clear record of who has said what, and that can be an easy way to communicate information. There are, with children, lots and lots of practical things that need to be communicated, both small things and more significant things, and that can enable a method of communication where you don't have to be face-to-face, and the communication can be a bit cooler. It's always a very good idea, though, particularly where you're sending long emails, to try and sleep on it before you hit send, because we've all done it, whether separated or not. Sending an email when you're cross is sometimes not the best idea. So you have to try and keep it cool. If that's not going to work for you, you can try mediation. That can at least help you to sort out a framework for starting communication, or some basics that are agreed and you don't need to then discuss. You can use a contact book, which passes in the children's bag when the children go from one home to the other. And you might use that to say, Billy has had Calpol today, don't give him any more Calpol until such and such a time, or he's got a bit of a cough, can you keep an eye on it, or he hasn't eaten very well today. Those sorts of practical things, or to make arrangements about swapping days, etc. A lot of parents now are beginning also, instead of a paper-based contact book that travels with the child and can get lost, to use parenting apps. And there are various apps out there. It's worth having a look on App Store or Google Store, whichever one's appropriate, to see which app would suit you. But they provide a secure means of communication, again, a text-based method of communication. So there's a record. They usually have some calendar functionality, and so you can communicate in that way. Some parents I have worked with have used things like Google Calendar, so they have a shared calendar. That can work well. It doesn't work well for everybody. It really depends upon your particular circumstances, how IT confident you are, and what suits you and the other parent. And finally, I think increasingly commonly, parents are finding parenting coordinators who are individuals who will help them work through and manage contact arrangements on a more ongoing basis. That's something which has been emerging in this country in the last few years, and some parents do find that helpful.
Thank you so much. That was Barrister Lucy Reed. Thank you for joining us, Lucy. Please do like this video if you found it helpful. And I have a whole series of other videos on different areas of law, family law, crime, employment, and we're adding lots more over coming weeks and months. So please do subscribe to this channel also and click the notification bell if you want to receive alerts whenever I upload new videos. I'm Barrister Daniel Barnett. Thank you so much for watching this. Bye-bye.